Welcome to RCCA's election preview. Today in the studio, I have Steve Abrahamson in, and he is running for District 4 Alderperson for the City of Wisconsin Rapids. And his incumbent is Tom Loucks. And I have Steve here in the studio right now, and he's going to introduce himself, and I'm going to have him take it away.
Hello folks, my name is Steve Abrahamson. I am running for District 4 Alderman for the City of Wisconsin Rapids. The incumbent is Tom Loucks, and I feel that he's been on the board a little bit too long. I think it's time to get some fresh faces, new ideas, new perspectives.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. You've lived here your entire life or moved here?
I was born and raised in Wisconsin Rapids. I love this community. I wouldn't want to move away. I see big things for Rapids if we get the right people into city council.
Let's talk a little bit. You touched on why you want to run for District 4 Alderperson. Let's just try to elaborate a little bit more. I know there's some reasons you really want to get out there and have the residents here in your ward and your district vote for you. So give me a few more reasons why you're running.
Well, number one, I'm all about business. I actually went through, and me and a couple other gentlemen created the Wisconsin Business Coalition. And what we do is we go through and we help businesses deal with local governments. Sometimes local governments just don't see the business side of things. They try to force their own opinion, going against some of the ordinances or codes or whatever, and that's just wrong. You know, if a business comes and wants to expand, they're not breaking any ordinances, any codes. There's no reason to say no. Recently, there was a resale shop that wants to start over on West Grand Avenue. And even Tom Loucks, rather than trying to find solutions to help that business along, he was actually looking for ways to stop it, try to number those types of businesses in Wisconsin Rapids. And that's just wrong.
Let's talk a little bit how you could encourage the city to foster economic growth, both regionally and here. What ideas would you have to help build that growth regionally and here?
Well, number one, we have to take a look at the comp plan. You know, I keep hearing everybody talk about that there's two plans. You know, there's the full length, and then there's also the downtown revitalization. We need to look at those, revamp them or scrap them all together and just totally rewrite them. A lot of the things in there are so anti-business, it's not even funny. And that's the same way with Saratoga. You know, they got the dairy issue going on, and they had a knee-jerk reaction. You know, 2 years prior, they had notification that something like that could come in. They sat on it. Now all of a sudden the dairy is coming in, they're not breaking any ordinances or codes. There's nothing Saratoga can do, but they went through and they put in this plan hoping that it goes retro to stop the dairy. You've got that in Grand Rapids, you've got it in Port Edwards. You know, people need to be more active in their local governments. They need to really look at some of these comp plans and rewrite them, make them more business friendly.
Alrighty. If you get elected, you'll have to work with the mayor, city department heads, also on the council. How would you establish a rapport with those people? How would you work closely with them? Is there anything that you would do differently if you become elected than it maybe is presently done?
Well, every idea is a good idea. So you have to bring in those ideas. We have to discuss them. And then we have to point out the pros and cons. You know, it's not an open and shut case on anything. But as long as somebody's coming up with ideas, we need to explore them. I feel that right now there's a chance of 4 new faces on city council. So, you know, we're going to be turning a page here. And hopefully it's going to be a good page where everybody's going to be on board to promote the area better than what we have been.
Yeah, there is going to be quite a bit of change here with our Common Council here coming in less than a month. We're taping this here at the beginning of March.
Yes.
How would you make yourself available to the general public if you get elected? If they have general questions, like yourself is in the public now, and you would like to meet with them, how would you now do that if you're on the other side?
Well, I've got my Facebook page that they can ask me questions. I've got an email. I've got a cell phone, my house phone. I'm going to be available 24/7. I don't care if it's 1 o'clock in the morning. If you have an issue at that time, call me. I'm willing to take it. I'm willing to listen.
And you encourage wanting to listen to the residents.
Yes.
It's a big part of where you're going to be elected.
If I get elected, I'm not the citizens' boss. They're my boss. I listen to what they want me to do.
There's committees now or there's always been committees with the city. There's Finance Committee, there's Public Works. If the mayor wants you to be on one of those committees, would you welcome that?
There's actually 2 committees that I'd like to be on.
Okay.
One is the Planning Commission, and the other one is the Finance Commission. Right now with Wisconsin Business Coalition, we're dealing with an issue down in Black River Falls that deals with the room tax that's collected. And it got me thinking about some of the things that happen here in Rapids. So I started doing some questioning around here, and it's amazing what I found. That money should not be going straight to the finance. There should actually be a separate committee set up to determine how that money is used, and there isn't. The board is supposed to be made up of 2 people associated with the city and 2 hoteliers. Well, I don't see any hoteliers on the finance committee. So right there, it's going against state statutes. We need to correct this. We need to fix it. We need to make it right.
Alrighty. Let's talk about our educational system. It's really important to our community. It's where growth starts with our young leaders. Do you feel our school system all the way down from elementary to high school to even up to mid-state is doing a good job here? And what could improve if you feel something needs to improve in that area to keep our youth here in the city or in the regional area?
The education system is all right. I wouldn't give it total, 100% great. And I wouldn't put it any lower than, say, 75%. Reading over some of the report cards that were coming out of Madison now, relating to some of our schools in the area, it's kind of amazing. You look at Think Academy out in Rudolph. Now they've got a student-teacher ratio of 26 or 27 to 1, and they're excelling. You look at Rapids, and some of our classes have 18 to 1 student to teacher, and they're actually mid-level. So what can we do to change that? We should really be exploring things. I know there's a good gentleman running for school board right now. His name is Jim Scott. I'm really hoping that he does get on the school board. I know he's only one voice, but maybe he can bring some logic to that board. Because right now, you've only got a little bit of dissent between the board when it comes to talking about Vesper. Some of the members want Vesper shut down. One member says, no way. Bring in Jim Scott, and he could actually empower the school board so that they actually do what they're supposed to be doing.
Working as a team, for instance, like the school board, how do you work together as if you were elected as alderperson? It takes all 8 of you. You're the ones that make the decisions on what's going to happen within the city and how much money is going to go to what area and vice versa. Do you see yourselves working together on that to reach a common goal? Or I know there's always going to be differences. That's really what that's human nature. There's nothing we can change about that. How do you work on a certain topic, for instance, kind of like what happened in the city maybe a couple months ago regarding an expansion of a of 8th Street expansion of a building with Grand Rapids annexation. How do you work together? Is there any
You
approach
have
to
to.
that?
You have to. You know, the annexation thing, that brings up a whole new category. We need to be able to create boundary agreements with some of our surrounding communities. Rapids right now is basically the big bully. Hey, somebody wants to come in and do this, hey, we're going to take your property. We can't just take that from them because we're removing revenue from their taxes. So we need to work with them closer. We need to come up with boundary agreements so that everybody can have the revenue generating share. You know, and the expansion with that low-income housing project, that's quite interesting because currently the mayor is preventing one business from expanding on 8th Street due to the fact that it doesn't fall into the comprehensive plan per se. Now, this low-income housing does not fit in the comp plan at all, but yet he's pushing for it. So we really need to work on this and get on the same page. You know, we're either going to follow this comp plan to the T, or we're going to scrap it and rewrite it. And like I said, that's one of the things that I'd like to do once I get into office.
Let's talk about some of the good points the city is doing now and some things you think the city could be working on. If you get elected as alderperson here for District 4, what would you want to work on and improving, and then what do you think is really good?
I really like the fact that the city is reaching out to further distances, looking for businesses to come in. There's the big project out on the East Side Industrial Park. You know, with that land being certified now, that's great. You know, it's going to draw more eyes to our area. And, you know, that was basically a state deal, but they had to bring the city in on it. So as long as the city continues to work with the state on that, great. The more businesses we bring in, the better off we're going to be, the more we're going to be able to keep some of our young here and keep it from becoming a retirement village.
Let's talk a little bit about the way city is currently doing business now. Are you happy with that at this moment?
If you look behind the scenes, there's a couple committees that aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. I had an issue back in 2012, and I took a complaint to the ethics board. The ethics board shot it down because it didn't have merit. But yet, if you look at the ordinance surrounding the governing ruling of that body, they're the ones that aren't seeing it. So we really need to take a look at some of our committees, make sure that we have decent people on there that are going to uphold what is on the books as is. We can't afford people to be legislating as they go.
Let's look into the future here. It's 2014. Let's look out 6 years. You've been living here your entire life, so you've seen a lot of change over the years. Some good, some bad, and that's pretty much normal in any city that we all live in, or village. But what do you think Rapids is going to look like at 2020 as the way we are on the path we're on now? And then let's just take that a step further. What would you do change to have Rapids change for 2020? What would you want different?
I see big things coming down. You know, like I said, if we get new faces on the city council with fresh ideas, fresh perspectives, we can actually open up the doors and we could very well prosper. There are several different entities that I know of that are looking at Rapids. You know, they may start off small, but you know, eventually they want to grow. We need to help them. We need to help them decide that Rapids is the area. I can see 8th Street becoming bigger and better. I can see more businesses along 8th Street. The downtown area, that's a pretty questionable area right now. We've stuck so much money into the downtown, and nothing seems to be working. But I think as long as we look to the 8th Street corridor or the East Side Industrial Park, those could actually help the downtown regain its once magnificent self. So for 2020, I see Rapids as a booming town again.
All right, great. Well, I think this our next question gets right into is, why should someone vote for you on April 1st?
People should vote for me in the District 4 Alderman race because I'm looking out for your best interest. I will be your employee. I'll protect you from the city when they bring in federal funds and mislead you on what those funds are supposed to be used for. I'll be looking out at the comp plan, try to revamp it, rewrite it, make it so that we're more business friendly. I wouldn't try to hinder businesses at all that are within the district. I want them to flourish. I'm here for you. I'll be available 24/7. If you have an issue, call me. I don't care if it's 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. If it's an issue that's really, really bothering you, call me. I will take care of it.
All righty. Well, I want to thank you, Steve, for coming by the studio today. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
All righty. Well, Steve's running for District 4, and the incumbent is Tom Rayom. So get out and vote April 1st. It's coming up quickly here. We're taping this here on March 3rd, less than a month away. So get out and vote at the polls. And this is for District 4 Alderperson position on the City of Wisconsin Rapids. Thanks for joining us.